I teach a course called Managing Public Affairs, and it is not a course necessarily for practitioners of public affairs, okay? It is for people who will someday be leaders of organizations, okay? So I'm teaching it as a leadership competence. A public affairs culture gives the supportive basis for interacting with governments, interacting with social entities, with communities. So if there's a supportive culture, it basically says we recognize that it's important to have interest groups, to have citizens interacting with their government and actually having some kind of say in the laws that are going to govern them. If you don't have that culture, it obviously becomes much more difficult. There's an infinite amount of space out there. The question is, how do you gain access? How do you deliver your message? And what kind of credibility do you have in delivering that message? And increasingly, it's not just companies, and it's not just companies running things. It's lots of voices. And the more robust a system is, and the more robust the culture is, the public affairs culture, the more those voices can be heard. So the theory behind it is that leaders in the 21st century, running big organizations in very turbulent times, in a time when social media are very important, when transparency is critical, when trust is important, have to have an understanding of how to connect with the external environment of their organization, right? So the things that you need to know are, what does public affairs offer? What are the skills that it offers to enable you to do this? Well, it focuses on stakeholders, not just shareholders, but stakeholders and your relationship with them. It focuses on issue management. What is the life cycle of an issue? How do you monitor issues? How do you decide to prioritize them, and which ones are you going to act on? When does an issue turn into a crisis, and how do you recognize that, and how do you manage that? What is the importance of reputation? How does that connect to your ability to deal with issues? And then we take all of this body of knowledge, social responsibility, how does that fit in? And we say, okay, let's see how it works in the U.S. And then let's see how it works in different cultures. After all, this is a school of foreign service, so we're interested, is there such a thing as international public affairs? And is there a body of principles that maybe are universal, but they're applied differently in different cultural contexts? So we look at Australia, we look at China, we look at Mexico, and then the students pick a country that they want to understand better. I don't assign the countries. Maybe there's a country they're already working on, they're already studying, and they apply these principles in that cultural context. We do case studies. There's a whole body of cases that are very interesting, everything from the BP oil spill to Bridgestone, Firestone, to the Toyota case, to lots of different cases, Walmart. And then at the end of the semester, the students take something that was in the news during the past year, a big issue. I was just looking at some papers right now. One of them took the Bank of America debit card issue. Another one took the nuclear disaster in Japan. Another one took the Netflix issue. I mean, on and on. And they're supposed to take it, analyze it. What was the issue? What was at stake? And then what are the public affairs practices and learnings from the past semester that they can apply to that case? What was done right and what wasn't done right? And I'm telling you, the students who just finished this course, they did a phenomenal job. It's like they did it and you want to say, yes, you got it. Now, move on.